I think the more things you do as well, and the more things you try, I've noticed because I've started a couple online businesses. I'm the same as you, Kimron. First few ones just completely tanked. Nothing came off. But the more you do things and the more you try and the more you fail, the more you start building up that awareness, you start seeing more opportunities and you start building up like, right, I've done this here, this transfers to this, and I've tried this before and that didn't work, but I could use that skill here. And it's like with anything, the more you do something, the more you start building up that little bit of confidence to like transfer it into other things. So you just need to start, do something, just do something and see where it ends up.
I've noticed in my old coaching days, I think a lot of people, they're so adverse to change. The human animal is such a complex animal. When everything is different, people get so scared and they use this umbrella word like we spoke about last time about anxiety. They get so anxious. But what I've noticed though, I don't know if you've noticed this, I used to think I was anxious or scared of failing. But the truth was, and I've noticed this from all the people I've spoken to before, and just keeping your ears on the ground, is that most people, in my humble opinion, are actually, I believe, scared of succeeding. I don't know if you thought about that one before, but that's what I'm getting. Because now, once you succeed, what happens? Life changes, right? Right? People don't want it to change. You have more money, what happens? Your aunt from 5 years ago comes in and she's got a kidney transplant. Your uncle down the road all of a sudden needs a new car, right? And you can't walk out the street anymore because you don't know who to trust. So I think most people they like to stay in their comfort zone, not because it's comfortable, but because they don't want the change, even if it's good for you. I think the human body, human nature doesn't want change. So people like me and we, especially from the Vipassana, we now understand that change is the only thing that's present. Therefore, embrace it. What's the point of fighting it or hiding from it? I think that's what separates entrepreneurs, thinkers, and doers. I could be wrong.
How do you think people get past that fear of change, Kimron? Because like since that for passing the course, I've definitely got better at embracing that, and that is the nature of reality. Everything's in flux; it's constantly changing. But I still find that I've got these mental narratives around, and it is both a fear of succeeding and a fear of failure. It's like, oh, if this happens and I put myself in a different scenario, how am I going to be able to adapt? What are people going to think of me? How do people start deconstructing their self-limiting beliefs? Like, what would you say is the best way to get around that?
So there's a couple of ways to look at this, right? I'm going to generalize this point first and then give a strategy afterwards. But I think it's important for people to understand the current, what is. We talk about this a lot, what is, and then we can talk about the possibilities about it afterwards. I think the most important thing for most people, like I think I mentioned before, is everyone tries to feel important in life, right? So as a man, it obviously depends on how you see yourself. There's different levels of manliness now. You know, there's the provider, there's the financial provider, then there's the social provider, then the societal expectations, the family expectations, then you might have the religious expectations. So it's all these expectations external of self before you can look internal to self, right? So most people, before they even get to that inner layer, they have to understand the outer layer like an onion. It's peel back. Firstly, the family expectations. You need to be a doctor. You need to be a lawyer, right? Your dad was this. Your uncle was this, right? Then you're gonna have, for example, then now family expectations, right? Or all our family are army men, right? We always go to the army. We're always doctors, and there's expectations of oh no, you must marry, and then you have religious. Oh no, you must marry someone in a religion, or you must do this particular thing, and then there's other expectations, the community expectations. Oh no, you need to, work in the shop, the family business. You need to. So it's all these external expectations of people before they can even start to listen to the inner noise of their own dreams. So most people stick within that core fear because of all those external expectations placed upon them until they come to a point of frustration, right? Until they come to a point of unhappiness. Then they're forced to look at those layers, right? Because what's frustration? Frustration just means I'm trying, but I'm not getting the results I want. So they're frustrated they can't be the doctor. They're frustrated they can't run the family business. They're frustrated that they don't have the passion as their dad does to join the army. They don't understand that, right? So they just feel frustrated. So it's easier to just be the same, conform. But the problem is, there's always this inner noise within them that wants to explore more outside of the societal norms, religious norms, community norms, and family norms. So if an individual by chance, by well, most people, say this, I think we mentioned this before, most people come to that realization after the three biggest teachers in life, right? Which is heartbreak, broke pockets, yeah, and failure. So at some point, those three things teach us, or they knock us so badly against the ropes. We're getting uppercut, we're getting jabbed, we're getting, punched by failure, punched by, failed marriages or failed relationships, because all these expectations are not what we want. So we're always gonna have these things teaching us because we don't feel happy inside. But there comes a point, right, where we become frustrated and helpless. Now, there are three elements of becoming helpless. Yeah, I'm losing control. I have no control. I'm out of control. Coupled with frustration, I have no control. I'm trying to hit the results that I want, but I can't. Now I'm frustrated. So that's that loop. So most people, they get battered by those three things, and then they get the realization, what the hell am I doing? This isn't my life. I don't want to be a doctor. I want to be an actor instead. I want to join the circus. I want to move to America. And then they're about 25, 26, 30, maybe 40. There's all these realizations. And then you then have to deal with it. So that was my first point. Let's deal with the norms. That's the most norm for people. Okay? So how do you deal with it? So once you've now come to that point of shit, I'm frustrated. Oh, I feel helpless. I'm stuck in a rut. My life is crap and I can't do nothing about it because my mom wants me to be a doctor, but I want to be an actor. What do I do with these things? So now I'm scared to disappoint other people. But what's the disappointment? Well, the disappointment is I don't want to be judged by other people, and therefore there comes the people pleasing. So we then prolong our needs. And again, so people have that list. They say, okay, I realize now this isn't what I want. So then they try to change the status quo. But what happens is, no, 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 you shouldn't do that. You should still be, you should still be a doctor. Your dad's a doctor, uncle's a doctor, granddad's a doctor. What you doing? You want to bring shame to the family? Okay. So most people have to escape that societal norm. And now you have to go through a process. And this is what a process looks like. Okay. There's about 8 or 7 steps. And I can take you through that quickly. If you want to break from your own internal noise, so once you come to that center, the person you have to fight is you. Do I, and the question you can ask yourself eventually is, do I continue the status quo, what is expected of me, or do I do what I want to really do in life? Right? And then you're going to go through the process. Well, the first thing is say to yourself, well, who am I? What am I? What's the purpose I truly want? What is it that excites me? Who is this person I'm now trying to become? Because I've always tried to be who my family, my community, my religion, my pastor, my community, or I've said it before, wants me to be. So we then go through a journey of discovery, right? Who am I? How many people Alex, that says, I'm just trying to find out who I am. I'm on a journey of discovery because they don't know who they are, right? They've been painted as someone else. The second step you have to take once you go through this, I am now, who am I? Is then say to yourself, okay, who do I then want to become? Because if you never know who you are, because you're painted into this picture of who you should be, you now have an idea of who you now are or who you are. What's the reality? Okay, who do I want to become? And that is the journey, between who I am and my own expectation of who I want to become. And that could be this long, it could be this long, it could be this long. But that's an individual's own journey that they have to take. They have to be willing to sacrifice the old self, because you cannot have a new person, you cannot have new ideas, you cannot have new results if you're always going to remain the same. So that's the battle people have. To say if there's a number one strategy, no, it's just finding out who are you, where you want to go. That's the first battle. But then that's simple, isn't it? However, before you get to that point, you've got to get rid of all the society, religion, the family, all this other stuff. And that itself is its own battle. That makes sense.
There's just barriers in the way of that, like that self-actualized version of you, that idealistic future. There's so many little barriers in that way there, and every time you overcome one, you get one step closer. And most of them barriers are fear. It's fear of what we were talking about, judgment, fear of the societal programming, you're letting down your parents, you're fearful of speaking to that woman because you finally want to get in a relationship. Whatever that idealistic version of it is, there's just little barriers, and you just need to knock them down and push past fear. And every time you do that, it's like you're saying, you're sacrificing an old part of yourself, you're overcoming an old habit that is that has determined you for so long, and you're creating a new version of you who's got confidence and can take things on. But it's just slaying them barriers, and it's so difficult. But people need to realize that once you take the first step, that compounds, and then it compounds again, and it keeps growing and growing, and you slowly build confidence. You get closer to that version. It's just to me, Kimron, though, that version's like never ending. Every time I realize a bit more of my potential or realize who I could be, that version just goes up and up and up. And you're like, oh, maybe I could be a multimillionaire now. Maybe I could do this and that. And then you've always like pushing the goal barriers, but it's better than being stuck at where you are.
Yeah, I agree. I tell you what, there's an exercise I do, and I'll give this to you, and I'll give this to your listeners as well. It's an exercise I take my people through whenever they want to go through that journey, discovering who they are and what they want to go. Because you're absolutely right. There's those limits that you put on yourself, and you're like, wait a second, I'm breaking the limits. What can I do next? What can I do? What can I do next? That is good, and I recommend people do that for them to break that cycle of expectation. But what I found out, but what I found though is that it can possibly have a hamster wheel effect. And I'll tell you why. Okay? Is because if you don't have, okay, I'll give you a better example. If you say to yourself, I am now in the UK and I want to, so Alex, you want to move to Bali, okay? You know where Bali is. You know what flights you need to take. You know how much a plane ticket's going to be. You know what visas you need. You know where particularly you're going to stay, right? You know how long you want to stay for. You know the outcome of what you're going to do when you come to Bali, beaches, mountains, whatever, okay? So in your mind, your destination is clear, and therefore you can take the right steps to get to that destination. Now imagine you said to yourself, you know what? I want to travel soon. That's your goal, okay? So then you can just, go to Skegness for a weekend. Yeah, that's traveling. And now you say, well, now I've been to Skegness. You know what? I got more confidence. I'm going to Scotland, right? Now you go to Scotland. You say, you know what? I feel more adventurous. Now I'm going to go to Isle of Man. Okay? So now you go to Isle of Man. If you know what? Whoa, this is it. I'm going to France, right? And this is my point, is that when you have a sort of a push or a drive inside of you to explore, that energy, just like a laser, needs to be focused towards its point, or else you'll have a shotgun effect and hit nothing, right? You'll still fire, you'll guard the blocks, but what's the outcome? I only say this to you because when I take people through this exercise, I say to them, do this, okay? I say to them, first thing I do is I say to them, write down 5 things you've accomplished and you're proud of in your life so far. 5 things, right? You've done, you've accomplished, you're proud of, you could talk about it for days, do a TED talk about it, but you're proud of this. The reason why I do that is because I want them to remind them that they've achieved shit. They've actually done shit in their life because they've had a goal. It might have been something they planned, but they've done it. And they're super proud of it. They give a TED talk about it. Okay? Next, I say to them, okay, we're going to spend an hour, right? And I want you to list down 50 goals you want to achieve in the next 10 years. It's like, whoa, 10 years. I don't know what I want to do next month. Exactly. So let's break it down like this. Okay? I want you to break down a goal that is, so break down the goals is going to be something that's personal growth, financial, right? Place you want to visit, okay? Things you want to do, and things you want to have. Oh, yeah, okay. I've got a better idea, but I don't know what I want yet. Okay, let's break it down. So out of these 50 goals in the next 10 years, based on these particular criteria, needs to be one of these 3 things. It needs to be attainable. Obviously, I can't be the president of New Zealand. Not going to happen. I love to be. Not going to happen. Right? Has to be realistic. Right? I love to be an astronaut. It's just not going to happen. I'm just going to be honest about it. It's not going to happen. I'm way too old to do the medical. Right? Plus, I'm not interested in it either. Okay? And it has to be compelling. Right? It has to be something that you are excited to chase. Right? So to say, hey, I want to win $10,000, that's not compelling. Right? It needs to be compelling. So what we then do is I said, okay, after you do that, we'll make it easier. So I want you to just write it down, whatever it is. Yeah, just have that in your head, write it down. We spend an hour and they just go through, and they do more than 50, Alex. Most of them do more than 50, right? So that's to bring it down. But then the goals are big. Oh, I want to make $10,000. Yeah, but what does that mean? $10,000 doing what? In your business? Do you want to win the lottery? Okay, I want to make $10,000 a month. Great. Okay, let's bring that a bit more. I want to make $10,000 a month in my business selling e-commerce. Boom. Now we've got something that's better. I want to go traveling. Where? I want to go somewhere hot. Where? Right? I want to go to Maui in Hawaii. Boom. Now we've got something to go with. So now I say to them, fine. Once you got this 50, let's break it down into years. So look at the goal. So Maui, when you want to go to Maui? In about 3 years. Okay, good. So each of your goals, put them in categories of 1, 3, 5, and 10 years, right? And when they put it in that category, they now look at their next 10 years of their life and they all say, wow, I didn't know. And that's what I'm saying to you. So if you want to have and beat anxiety, like you mentioned, and you come to that actualization point of getting rid of the societal pressures, do that exercise that gives you clarity, it gives you direction, but it also gives you something to aim at rather than just being, oh, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. Now you have this inner drive, inner passion, you have something to guide you towards. So now you know the action steps you now need to take in the next year to pick whatever. So I tell them pick 3 goals you want to achieve in the next year. Right? They pick the 3 goals, great. That's your next year. Okay, those 3 things that are compelling to you, that you really want to do, are excited about, achieve that in the next year. And this is the action plan we're going to take month by month to do it. Once you have that, don't forget, anxiety is just a fear of the future. That's unknown, right? So if I know that I'm going to go to Maui this year, right? For yourself, I'm going to go to Bali this year, do Vipassana. You know you need to look up and apply for Vipassana course. You know you need to get your visa. You know you need to. So now you're just making steps. Where's the anxiety? You see my point?
Yeah, you just woke me up to like a big problem I'm dealing with, Kimron. So like when you said that shotgun where like you put your focus on so many things and it kind of just spurts out instead of like a laser,
Yeah.
that's something that I'm dealing with at the moment, and I can't get my head over prioritizing one goal over another. I kind of feel like I want to do everything, but in
Right.
that pursuit of trying to do everything, in the pursuit of trying to be in the best shape of my life, then growing the podcast, then trying to be a personal trainer, then trying to do something else, I'm actually finding I'm getting like nothing done. How do you like describe to people like how to prioritize what to sacrifice, because obviously if I want to pursue one of these things I'm going to have to sacrifice a
Yep.
few others until I can
Yep.
attain that. How do you prioritize what is of
Gotcha.
importance?
Yeah. So I'll go through an exercise. What I'll do is, mate, I'll send you the worksheet for yourself afterwards. And if any of your listeners want it, I don't know how they can comment. Just gonna comment goals, and I can give them access to that as well. So really good worksheet. It'll take you about 5 hours to do, but I promise you that'll be the best 5 hours of your life because you will be so crystal clear. So exactly what you just mentioned. The next section of that is then picking 3 goals, right? So you got 50, right? You looked at your 1 year list. You've narrowed down in your head because what you've done is you forced your subconscious to now activate the consciousness to think about what you're dreaming, okay, and what you really feel like. You'll look at your 1 year list and you'll see all your things, your personal training, your podcast, all those other stuff. But then you need to ask yourself something, okay? I like to call it the what not to do list. Yeah, the what not to do. So what I would recommend for you to do is this, okay? Again, I'll send you the worksheet for this as well. It's really helpful. It helps me in terms of what I'm doing now. Is on one section, so imagine a sheet, right? One section will be the thing you're doing, right? So podcast, personal training, and what else you said you want to do? Get fit, right? Best shape your life, right? So you say to yourself, okay, so if I do this stuff, what's my projected income? What's my projected benefit? Right? So list all the things you think you want to do, right? First column, the activity. Next column, the projected benefit. So if it's podcast, money. If it's health, maybe it's social and health, right? Maybe social health and wealth. You don't know until you investigate it. Okay? Then you say to yourself, okay, how soon in your mind can you achieve that? Right? And then you want to say to yourself, okay, is it something I can automate, delegate, or eliminate? I.e., okay, can I automate facets of my podcast? Or can I delegate facets of my podcast? Or can I delete facets of my podcast? Next, if you're talking about getting in shape, okay, is there a way that I can automate facets of me getting? So, example, when I go to bed, I talk to my phone, right? I'll show you really quickly. Watch this, okay? Here's my phone. Okay, Google, good night. 7 a.m. 7 a.m. bitch. Watch, 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 watch. Yeah. Okay. So I have now it tells me all my information, right? My meeting. So I have automated my good night process. So what it does, it tells you my meeting, it tells me what I've got to do in the morning, it wakes me up at a certain time so I can start exercising, everything planned. So I've automated part of my life, right? So what can I delegate from this? Well, if I was doing training, what can I delegate? For example, meal prep, I can probably delegate. Instead of me having to cook, maybe I can delegate that to someone else so I can just have my meals in the morning. You see my point? So if you don't want to choose what is most effective to you, you have to decide if it's financial or if it's health basis, right? So if your podcast, you want to make X amount of money, but it's going to take you 6 months to get to that level, yet you then have, something else that's going to be quicker, you have to make that decision. Wait, it's going to be 6 months, right? I'll only earn 10,000. Or I might do this and I have more health. I don't know if you follow me at nighttime. I go gym at about 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning, right? And the reason I do that is because we only have 24 hours in a day. So I sacrifice some things for the benefit of my gym. So I do everything I do in a day, but I set myself goals. I say to myself, doesn't matter what happens during the day, I'm always going to the gym 2 hours in the evening. So again, it's you prioritizing what you currently do versus your future expectation of the income or the health benefits versus how many facets of what you're trying to do at the moment can you automate, delegate, or eliminate. Simplify your life. Once you do that, you'll have a simpler life, and therefore you'll have more time to focus on what you actually want to do because now you decided, wait, I want to go more money, or I want to become a personal trainer. Or maybe I could automate my email listing, or maybe I could automate my emails. I'm going to say automate my videos, or maybe I could. Just so many assets, so many facets. But I hope that helps you, by the way. There's so much more into that, but that's my quick answer for you.
No, that was super helpful, Kimron. I like how when you're saying you're automating things as well, you're taking. I feel like when you're automating that, so what you said when you put your alarm on and it comes up with your day, if you leave if it's out of sight, out of mind. So if you're not having things that are telling you like you need to do this, you need to do that, and you're not planning, your mind will go to like the instant gratification stuff. And this is something that I've
Yes.
done recently, and I think for me, it's out of that fear of failure. I kind of avoid things and leave it. Jordan Peterson said the fog. So you leave things in the fog and you don't clarify them. You don't clarify what you need to do. You don't clarify your purpose. You don't clarify your goals. All in terms is that you're avoiding it because you've got a fear of failure or fear of success. So you're leaving it in the unknown so you never have to directly go to the fact that you're not accomplishing it. And it's
Yep.
something that I've done recently and I've noticed it in myself. But I think if I just got down and started writing, right, I need to wake up and do this, and then I'm going to work at this time, it just takes that monkey brain. It takes that wandering
I'll show
mind
you.
away and it gives you a purpose. It's like you're doing this now.
Yep, I'll show you. So I'll show you my schedule, right? I don't know if you can see that. So let me get my camera here. So you have morning meditate 5:30. Then you have morning reset routine is at 5:50. Then I have meditate at 5, so forth. So let me just see if I can get it to you. So you see what I mean. I talk when I do what I talk, mate. You can see that, right? So morning reset, 5 o'clock. Then meditate. Then write 10 pages of my book, right? So and then I have obviously my calls I have for there, but everything in here in terms of what I need to do, right? So it's not just about writing it down. I automate my life. It's like my own virtual PA. So if it's an example, right? I can spend $5 a day and hire a PA, right, to manage my life for me. My phone does it for me, right? So when I say, I'll show you 1 second, okay? This is opposite. Okay, Google, morning. Wait, right? And she takes me to all my meetings, okay? So I wake up in the morning, and what I do is I don't touch my phone. Don't touch it. I don't even have to look at it, right? My alarm goes off. I say good morning to my phone. It tells me what I need to do. I get cracking because the moment I touch my phone, I'm distracted.
100% Kimron. If
dopamine
you
hit.
start
You
your
know,
day off going
again,
on your
again,
phone, it is game over from that point because you've kind of
go on.
set the dopamine balance of I'm going for instant gratification. And then if you're sat there scrolling through social media and then you try and sit down and meditate, your mind is everywhere. If you try and read a book after
Correct.
scrolling through Instagram, it's not happening. So, yeah, prioritize the most important task straight away and stay away clear from your phone as you can.
Of course. My phone talks to me. It's my PA. I wake up in the morning. I say good morning. My phone tells me the time, what my first task is, what the weather's going to be like. And then tells me what my first calendar event is and what's my calendar event. And then reads me the news that I need to hear. So obviously FT, or there might be any particular RSS feeds I need. That's it. And I go about my day. I don't touch my phone until 9 p.m., 9 a.m. Sorry. Right. I also have on my phone a do not disturb that goes on. And so my phone goes on do not disturb from 8 till 9 a.m. in the morning. I receive no calls, I receive no texts, I receive no notifications. Because at that time, I'm busy doing shit, not on my phone. So again, so if you want to prioritize yourself, you need to see where your leakage is. You need to see where you're wasting time. That is a simple process. Me setting up my morning and my evening routine. But that stops me from looking at my phone, stops me from dopamine hits. It keeps me disciplined, it keeps me accountable. That one automation process has enabled me to stay focused on the task I have. So imagine if now you could automate more assets of your life or facets of your life, how simpler things will be. Most people don't do this. They look at their phone, they scrolling, look at messages, they go on Instagram, who's messaged them. I ain't got no time for that, bro. I ain't got no time for that.
For sure, that's such an important message for people to listen to because I think we're only going deeper down the rabbit hole of people just consuming instant gratification and on their phone, and that's why that Vipassana course is so impactful because you had 10 days away from your phone, and it made such a big difference just being with your head, just with your mind for that long. Kimron, one big like topic I wanted to discuss, which I think is going to be a nice juicy one for the Instagram, is
Go on.
masculinity.
Ooh!
Like I've been trying to research into. Hey, here we go. I've been trying to research into it a little bit, but I still can't. Like, what does it mean to be a masculine man in 2023? How
Oh
would you define that?
man. Okay. So I have had, and I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm gonna get straight with it. But however, I always like to put context into everything I say because if I don't, I feel to be taken out of context, and I want to be very clear with this. Okay. So masculinity today, what it is, no longer represents the word masculine anymore. For example, what is a woman? I've noticed there seems to be a big drive to identify what a woman is, but we seem to forget to ask what a man is, right? And what I've noticed is masculinity today doesn't mean anything but a byproduct for a man that's aggressive in today's society, right? I know they try to top it up with toxic masculinity to apparently that makes it worse, but most people are scared to say that they are masculine. Most people are scared to feel masculine, and most people feel that masculinity is a problem in today's society only because it has been sabotaged by some agenda to demasculate male for whatever reason it is. You can clearly see something is being coordinated to have men feel that it's not right to be a man. So, what is a man? Well, a man used to mean someone who breaks through barriers, someone with integrity, someone who. wait. I want to get this clear. Someone who breaks through barriers, someone that gets things done, someone that is a protector, someone that is honest to themselves and authentic to their needs. I want to make things clear though. Masculinity is an energy, not a thing, a person, or a place. The reason I say that is because when people say, what's masculinity? The first thing you think is Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Or Andrew Tate. That's not masculinity. That's people embracing and over exaggerating in some parts the energy of masculinity, right? And with the energy, when you're in your masculine energy, you are therefore trying to achieve something. You are trying to go after something without the fear of other people putting you down. For example, an example of a masculine woman would be Hillary Clinton, right? So if you look at the way they dress, the way they carry themselves, they have to be aggressive. But that's the wrong idea of masculinity. Masculinity is not aggressive or dominant. Masculinity is assertive. It's been lost in the wire. It's been lost in the wash because now people think in order to be masculine, you need to be loud, you need to be big, you need to be aggressive. the big, loud, aggressive people I've met are not being very masculine, bro. Right? Because then when we have a conversation, they understand what it truly means when we have a conversation. It's like I won't go into that. But anyway, my point is, so the masculinity nowadays has been completely lost. But it's an energy. So when you think of masculinity, it's achieving, it's doing, it's moving forward, it's breaking through barriers, it's going without fear. However, on the counter side, there's also feminine energy. So it's an equal balance between men and women. So when you talk about a masculine man, that's a man that's going after his purpose. That's a man that's going after his values. That's a man that is building his community. That's a man that's building himself. For me, when I say masculinity, I call masculine men kingdom builders. That's what I call them. Kingdom builders. Because in my head, we as masculine men are trying to build our kingdom for our generations to come. So that means build a castle, yeah, and that means sharpen your sword, right? Polish your shield, right? Build, ring fence and protect what is yours, and then grow it more. Build a town, right? Build a village, become a king. Therefore, you are a kingdom builder because you're building your kingdom as a king of your kingdom. And that means being a leader. That means, and a leader, what's a leader? People lose that. A leader goes first. People can't follow you if you don't go first. That's a leader. But if you cannot go first, if you cannot be the one to to think about building that kingdom, if you can't safeguard your mental health, if you can't raise good people around you, if you can't make good decisions and keep picking bad partners, if you can't stay away from things that bring you down, if you can't overcome your own self, who the hell's going to follow you? Not a leader. So in terms of masculinity, because right now every other person on Instagram is full of shit, in my humble opinion. And I tell you this because just type in anything masculine in Instagram, what comes up? Women, how to manipulate women, how to be a player, and I just think, and the thing is, please don't think I'm salty because I couldn't care less. I live a great life. I couldn't care less. My point is though, is that these guys are the Pied Piper, you know, playing the flute and making these men feel that the answer to their prayers is becoming a player. The answer to their prayers is having as many hoes as they can. The answer to their prayers is understanding female nature when they should understand themselves first. My philosophy is simple. A masculine man does not care what keeps other people ahead. He's only concerned about fixing what's keeping him behind because he's too goddamn busy building his kingdom. So when we talk about masculinity, we need to have a hyphen. It needs to be masculinity in men because again, masculinity is an energy. So as a masculine man, we should be building our kingdoms, not worrying what other people do or what keeps a woman ahead and why she's a gold digger and all this. I look at this stuff and I'm like, like Fresh and Fit, they just do my head in, right? And don't get me wrong, my girlfriend loves Andrew Tate. And I said to this, right? This is what I mean. I think I'm in the wrong era, Alex. I really do. I think I'm in the wrong era. Because I say to her, she tells me, oh, I love Andrew Tate. I just think he's so cool. I love his message. I go, so yeah? What's his values? Uh, you mean? I just think he has a good message. He just sounds so smart. Okay, yeah, cool. What's his values? I don't know. I'm like, how many baby mothers does he have? I don't know. He has about 12. Is that someone you want your son to follow? No. So what message are you following then? You're listening to it's like this, yeah? Christians. I'm Christians, so no one can bash me. I can say it. It's like I'm black, I can say the N-word. So moving on, right? So for Christians, yeah? Jesus, right? Jesus, great man, fed 5,000 people one loaf of bread, right? Gave up his life for people, yeah? Walked around and humbled himself, okay? But then you have priests who are fiddling kids, documented, yeah? Priests who are stealing money from the convention, documented. Priests who are committing adultery, documented. So my question is, are these people following the faith or following the values of Christ? Because if people follow the values of Christ, they will do nothing that they're doing. So most of these men today are false prophets because they give off this impression that they are composed, successful men when their values suck. And what is masculine men? a man of values, right? Who go after what is truly right in his integrity. And most of these men are just giving this false sense of reality to these lost men who think masculinity is being big and slow and being loud and topless, yeah, and having going to the gym, right, and eating raw meat and being a player, she's for the street, bro, high five, right? But then most of these men are clowns because they're all crabs in a bucket, and I couldn't give a damn, to be honest. But they're all crabs in a bucket because it's easier for them to point fingers than have to identify what's keeping them behind. So right now, bro, that's just simple. I have to go rant on this because it's annoying me, you know. Um, in a sense of I feel sorry for the men that are hooked by this, you know, and it's annoying me that people can't see what's being done to them, right? Is that they get this false idea that masculinity is this is this big loud. Nah, man, bro, I've got a video on YouTube of me crying to this song that helped me when I was depressed. Yep. If you're truly a masculine man, you have to have four things, right? That should be important to you. Okay? The first thing is integrity. Do what you say and do what you say, right? Say what you do and do what you say. Yeah? That's the first thing. Have integrity. Because again, if you have no integrity, who's going to follow you? You're supposed to be the leader of your kingdom, yet you don't match your words with your actions. Sort it out. No one's perfect, don't get me wrong, but sort it out. Make it at least 80 to 90%, right? Second thing, emotional control. Most men nowadays just act on anger, right? Because it's aggressive. I'm a man. I'm aggressive. Look at me. Don't fuck with me, man. I'm a man. That's not a man. Anyone can lose their temper. Women and men can lose their temper. How many lives have ended because people losing their temper, right? And that's a woman's trait. You're emotional, bro, right? Men were logic. If men were using their masculine side of their brain, they'd be like, wait a second, that makes no sense. Why am I getting angry for? It's pointless. But the emotions are always triggered because we just live as fearful animals. So you gotta have emotional control. Third thing, you've got to be assertive. That means I win, you win. Not aggressive, which is I win, you lose, and not passive, which is I lose, you win. Assertive. Go after what you want and state it clearly. Communicate. Because you have emotional control to communicate it and you're not fair the outcome of it. But your attitude is, hey, I want you to win, so do I. Okay? And the last and most important thing is able to set clear boundaries. If you cannot set clear boundaries with other people, and most importantly yourself, you will forever be this, oh man, I'm just going with the flow. Let's just see how life goes, bro. You know, I don't know what I want to do. What do you want to do? Oh, darling, where do you want to go today? I don't know where you want to go today, darling. You need to set boundaries because that gives you a theater to operate. And if you can't give yourself a theater to operate, how are you supposed to be that leader who's going to build his kingdom for the people to follow and you set no boundaries in your kingdom because you can't set boundaries with yourself? That is masculinity, in my humble opinion. But look, I could be wrong.
I think the big thing you said so much there. There were so many value drops that people probably need to re-listen to that.
Sorry.
So what I'm getting out of that, Kimron, and there's so many different things was like these people that the viewers idolize, like Andrew Tate or the Red Pillars. They play on the strongest emotion, which is like your fear for. It's normally women. It's like do this and you'll get loads of women. You'll get loads of hoes, and that's such an especially into young men. You can be so anxious around women. You can have such importance on your dating life that you look at these people and you see their highlights. They portray things they're not, and you think they're of some sort of importance and value, but in reality, what you were saying is the most important part is overcoming your own mental narratives. Is self-mastery. Nothing external is going to make you feel masculine. It's all going to be in your own mind. It's all interpretations going on in here. And the more you stick to your promises, the more when you say, I'm going to wake up on this time and I wake up, the more you start achieving your goals and you start setting boundaries, doing all the things you said, you're going to feel more masculine. You're going to feel more assertive in yourself. But it's not anything external. It's not the getting 16 girls' numbers on a night out. It's not shagging loads of hoes. It's not doing all these things. It's the mental wins that you have, the little wins day in, day out. They're the things that are going to make you feel better, not what they're portraying.
Correct. And you know what? I would say this, you know, Masculinity isn't about how strong you are, it's how strong you feel. You know, how strong you feel. If you feel strong inside mentally, if you feel composed, if you know your worth, and you also know what you're contributing to this world, no jacked up moron can make you feel insecure about yourself because you know who you are. And I think a lot of men struggle with their masculinity because they're dormant in their state. What I mean by this is that most men are being given different ideas of masculinity by different sources. Yeah, especially in today's media and movies. There's a lot of female, heroines beating up guys, and there's this Me Too movements, and women think they're just like men, bullshit, and this and that. Look, the one thing that's really changed my life is me picking a better partner. But before I can pick a better partner, I have to become a better man you know. So I couldn't continue. I used to do some fucked up shit. I don't know if you can beat this up or not, but I used to be a terrible person. I'm gonna tell you this. I used to be a terrible person to the most amazing. I've been lucky, Alex. I don't know how I got these women, man, but the most amazing, amazing women they could. Honestly, the German girlfriend, amazing woman. She would have died for me. She did everything for me. I just been lucky, and they taught me lessons. The girlfriend I have now, she treats me like the king that I am. That's what I expect, and that's what she expects of me. But I couldn't do any of that until I became a better man. That is understanding what's keeping me behind the other people ahead. And most men feel in order for them to be successful, they need to be societal successful or societal validated. Right? Look at me, I got a nice watch, I'm validated. Look at me, I wear Celine and Gucci and Balenciaga, I'm validated. Look at me, I can drive this car, I'm validated. Bro, those things don't validate shit. Right? What happens when you don't have it now? Who are you? Right? When I was dead broke, sitting in my goddamn car, it taught me a lesson, man. It was a nice car, but still, I thought, geez, so I have an iPhone and a car and a tent. I used to be bowling, flying all over the world. What the hell happened to me? And it humbled the hell out of me, dude. Humbled the hell out of me, you know? So now, look, dude, look what I wear, man. People don't know nothing about what I have or don't have. Couldn't care less. Look, I wear stupid little beads. There's nothing. You'll never because that's not important. What's important is my internal mental health. My list is this. I told my girlfriend this, and you can even ask her what my list is. Yeah? So, babe, want to better. So, babe, we've got a great relationship. I want to make something really clear with you, though. Okay? This is my list of my priorities in my life. And I want you to understand that. If you don't cool with it, it's cool, but it ain't going to change. Right? It's me, my spirituality, my business, my hobbies, my bike, then women. That's it. That's it. She's cool with that. She's like, I need a man who isn't going to put me first. Because if you put me first, you're going to lose who you are. At the end of the day, I'm going to be unhappy. I need you to go after your goals. I need you to build your kingdom. I need you to be a man. Because I picked a better partner. Do you see what I mean? And because I pick a better partner, she supports what I does instead of me feeling I need to be validated by everything else. And this is why I am today in life. I don't have to stress. I don't have to worry. My woman knows I go to the gym at 2 o'clock in the morning. She don't stress me out at all about that. She'll just go to bed. Right? See you in the morning. Great. I'm up at 5. Right? I go to the market to do stuff and then I continue the day. And she knows I will grind because I show her by my actions that I'm not going to just stop or not something to defeat me. And that's the masculine energy that you want. You want your partner to see that and trust in you that you got your shit together, you got your emotional control together, you got your mental health right. So when we have conversations, we have a simple conversation, right? No drama, no stress. She's firmly in her feminine, I'm firmly in my masculine energy. That's it. If men can do that, that is the battle. The battle is self. Stop trying to impress other people. They don't care. They don't care. Because as soon as you lose it, they're gone. Right? So they're gone. Right? So now you're a slave. Think about that. Why do I want to spend my waking hours taking reels so I can impress a bunch of people I'm never going to see or care about? Right? Now, I understand if it's for business, very well, you do your thing. But for the people that feel they need it to be validated, like, look, make yourself happy, man. But at the end of the day, as a man who is trying to be masculine, we have to understand that we're dormant because society is pushing down the energy. right? So we have to become self-aware of it and say to ourselves, we need to attain those 4 pillars of masculinity I spoke about. And once you work on those 4 pillars, and as you said mentioned before, you're getting your slow wins. Not only would you feel confident about your slow wins, but then you'll feel confident that you can achieve more because now you have experience. And failing doesn't matter anymore. And if I say to people, I will always win because I'm never scared to fail. Always succeed. Always. I'm never scared to fail. What is failure? Failure is a lesson. Next. That's my attitude.
I read a quote the other day, Kimron, which was, and this is, I want to really hear your opinion on this. It's easier to attain your material goals than it is to renounce them. And what he meant by that is from someone who's had the material gain. So before you went homeless, you said you was earning good money, you was flying around the world. Look, from my point of view, do you think it's I need to achieve the material stuff to let them go? Because I intellectually know that I don't need to achieve the material stuff to make me happy. But there's so much in my mind. It's like I need to have the fast car. I need to have the earn the money to do this and that to make myself look in a statusful way. Was it easier because you achieved that beforehand to let it go? Because it's difficult for me to let go. That I'm trying, but I think it is important.
So I have a fast bike at the moment. That's my only splurge. And it's an old bike. It's a 2015 bike, right? I love it. I love the sound, I love the look at it. And people say, why do you want this bike for? I'm like, I like it, right? I like it. I like the sound. I like the way it looks. I like it. Couldn't care less who doesn't like it. And I'm only at that point because of exactly that. Is that I know why. The why. Okay? And when I say the why, is what I mean is why do I want to build a kingdom? Why do I want to go to gym at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock at night? Right? Why do I want to, work stupidly hard to build the restaurant, to build all the things that we're doing? Why do I want to do that? And when I went back and deeper into those whys, it beats every what, it beats every when, it beats every who, and it beats every what, who, when. That's it. Yeah, those three. Okay. So my why is very simple. My legacy is my why. I want my future kids to look back in 30 years and point to me as the reason the family is where we are. Now, that is purely me wanting to feel important. And that's normal. However, I've turned it on its head. Instead of me wanting to feel important for society's eyes, I only care about my legacy. I want my kids to be proud of me. Fuck my neighbors. Fuck my peers. I couldn't care less who's doing better than me, as long as I'm doing better than I did yesterday. End of story. But in 20, 30 years' time, my kids, my grandkids are going to be proud of what I have done to set up them in their lives. So this is why I do what I do. So when you think about the material stuff, that doesn't bother me anymore because I don't do it because that's the why. Like I need to get a car or a fast car so people can look at me stunning. Couldn't care less, right? Why do I have the bike? Because I love it. That's it. I love the way it makes me feel. I love the way I drive on it. I love the noise of it. Yeah, I could get a new one. Couldn't give a damn. I like it. You see my point? So it's got nothing to do with me having it before and losing it. It's more about me understanding my motivations before versus my motivation now. Different. Because my why is so strong for my children, all the other stuff doesn't matter anymore. You know? I say this to my girlfriend now. I was like, look, when we spend something, I'm like, babe, that could have been towards our grandkids. Because they really need that. That's going towards our future generation. Did we really need that? Honestly, she likes to splurge. I don't. I'm like a tight-fisted Momo right now, dude. You know, I'm like, no, do we really need that? That can really go think about it, right? That can go towards. So this is where I'm coming from. You just need to understand, Alex, your whys for things. Why do you want to have all these things? Why does it matter, right? When you lose it, does it represent you? Does it make you feel better, look better? Are you going to get more from it? You're not going to get anything more from it. As you learn through the past, nothing is permanent. You can't take a fast car for generate unless it's a classic Ferrari. Then by all means, go for it. Give it to your generation. But if it's to look good, I couldn't care less, mate. If you see the way I dress, I couldn't care. I get the billionaires now. I guess why they have the same shirt. They have the same, and there's a reason why they do that because they're like, look, I got more important things to think about than impress you. You know I'm a billionaire, so what do I need to impress you for?
Yeah, it's taking that energy that is coming from that need of importance. Like that importance is going to be, you want to going to feel important. That energy is there. And it's just framing that narrative to something greater than you, to something that's really going to give you fulfillment and meaning, instead of just chasing the pointless desires of trying to fulfill people's expectations or trying to look in a certain way. And that comes again from awareness. You need to have awareness of why you want to do things. And so the more I start getting on self development and I do all these things, researching, everything begins with awareness. You need to be aware of what is happening around you, aware of where you want to go, aware of the steps. Awareness is key. You can't solve problems until you have awareness.
Of course, man. It's, you know what? It's been the life changer for me. And the difficult thing is though, it's like awareness is one of those things like health. You just can't buy it. You know? You can't buy it. You can't be taught it. You have to experience it. Or the other word we could call it, wisdom. That's what really awareness is. It's just wisdom. You know? How much knowledge do we all have? We have the internet, man. We live in an era where never the internet, we've got chat GPT, dude. We live in an era where you can ask your computer to do shit for you. Yet most people are in the same situations in life. So knowledge isn't the problem, right? Knowledge isn't the problem. It's just the wisdom to apply the knowledge in a way that's going to be helpful. Awareness is definitely key. It's like people are aware that smoking is bad for them, Alex. They're very aware of it, but they're subconsciously aware of it. If they saw themselves 10 years from now lying in a life support machine, that's awareness. You know, some people who have goals and dreams and they're coming older in life and they look at themselves now going to the 9 to 5 job, hating their commute. If they can see themselves in 30 years' time sitting in a retirement home, regretting the last 30 years of their life, they'll make change. So it's not necessarily the knowledge. People have enough knowledge. It's sad that for whatever reason it is, we have been dumbed down to be so fearful of change and so fearful of leaving something behind because for some reason we think we're going to live forever until that day comes that we don't. And then we're like, oh shit, I wish I'd done more of that. And that's a sad reality of life for a majority of people. But I think that's how we've been programmed to behave. Imagine if everyone on this planet was ambitious as us. Who can be bidmen? Who are going to be the cleaners? Who are going to be the bus drivers? Who are going to be, airplane pilots? No disrespect to airplane pilots, but someone needs to fly the plane, right? So it's a great job. I wouldn't do it. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm doing something else. So as much as we want to change the world, we have to understand that the system is designed in such a way that not everyone is going to be ambitious. Some people like their life just the way it is, as sad as it is.
Yeah, and if you can be happy with that and you can like not have that ambitious part of your brain, then that's fine. Some people actually can find fulfillment and peace just doing the mundane, and that's them. But I think for most people that are listening to a podcast like this or are following you, Kimron, they've got that nagging part of their brain that's like when you're doing the mundane, when you're doing the
Yes.
9 till 5, it's whispering, it's going, "You're better than this. What you doing? You can do better than this," and it's constantly there, and that will never go. It will never leave
Yeah.
you until you start fulfilling some sort of your purpose, and so you start going out in the world and achieving things. That will always be there, commenting, narrating over the lack of things that you're doing, and you need to find a way to put that energy into something greater than you.
I would ask you a question, Alex, right? Because I'm just curious in your thinking. You know, why do you think that most people want to find their purpose in life? I'm just curious because you're quite an ambitious young man as well. But why is it important, do you feel, for people to want to feel their purpose? I'm really curious about
I think it's because we've got this abundance of energy. Everyone is just energy. We're all just atoms vibrating. We're all ready to go. And when you don't have somewhere to put that energy and you don't have anywhere to direct your mind, it's that quote from the Bible: "Idle hands are a devil's workshop." You find things
that.
to fill in your hands. You find your energy fills in with wrong things, and it's things that are often self-destructive. It's things like partying, drinking that make you feel worse. And if you don't have something greater to overcome that instant gratification, then you've got nowhere to go, and your life just slowly, progressively gets worse and worse. And I think for most people, it's just finding that reason to get out of bed. It's that life's hard. Life is really difficult. Even if you've got an easy life, like you live with your parents. I'm working in a supermarket at the moment. It's pretty chilled. It's pretty comfortable. But it's not easy in my own mind because it's watching my day to day existence and going, you're capable of more. You're capable of more. And I think for people, they need that clarity of, if I put my energy into this, it's going to get me out of this situation. And I think that's
Yeah,
what, for me, is the purpose. It's something that moves you forward instead
yeah.
of staying still.
I love that, you know, because I have been curious about this whole thing for purpose for quite a while. And I think developing the processes that I have to bring clarity, it kind of does make sense, you know, really makes sense. I think people, again, have to fight the societal, religious, the communal, the parental expectation. And then they have to have the courage to then face themselves, you know, and then say, well, okay, now I've broken free of what people want of me. What do I want? And then go after it without fear. But it depends. I'm not quite sure the demographic of your audience, but for me, my audience is mostly men. Although I have a lot of women following me now for some strange reason. I couldn't tell you why. Following me for some reason. And what I noticed is that um, most men now, especially the men I speak to for a while, I don't know if you noticed, but I've actually stopped coaching for a little while. You know, I've taken a break from it. I've taken a break from the message because I want people to miss me a little bit more and just see what life is like without me. But I focus on my restaurant, focus on my other businesses that I've got running with my partner. But what I've noticed is this whole quest for purpose seems to be, I don't know what you think about this, seems to be focused on money making, which has many obstacles, right? Because they're focusing on a thing, right? Then the anxiety comes with, how do I make money? And then they're like, okay, let me follow the latest trend of money making scheme. And then what happens is they start with no real passion. They either fail, they get scammed, or they don't get the result they want. They become frustrated. And now they go back in a bigger rut because the dream they thought they had is now proven to be unattainable. And now they feel even worse. Because, like, see, I try to come out my comfort zone. This is what happened. Let's play small. I've seen that quite a lot from people. I don't know how you see that there.
Yeah, I think that's again coming from there, getting the importance of everything's out there. They're probably watching the way social media is going. They're watching the content creators, and they're all putting importance on. You need to be earning 10 grand a month. You need to be doing this. You need to be doing that, and then that becomes another mental narrative that gets instilled in your mind, and you give that importance. But it's what when you said you defined that your purpose as your legacy, that's something greater than you. And if you don't define something greater than you, something will fill in that spot. And I think for most people, it is the material. It's the making a certain amount of money, sleeping with a certain amount of women. But
Yeah,
there needs to be something greater than that, because that material goal is going to it's never going to satisfy that itch. It's going to like relieve it for a couple seconds, and then it's going to slowly come back. So having something greater than you, that purpose, I think it's what everyone's looking for. It's We're all looking for meaning in all of our
yeah,
suffering.
yeah. You know what? I definitely agree. And when I discovered, understanding the why, it changed the whole game for me because now I was no longer trying to just make money, right? Just trying to find a way online to make money because I want to be a digital nomad. I want to live in the tropics. I don't want to have a 9 to 5 job or whatever it was with my motivation. The first time I became a successful entrepreneur is because I wanted to move country to be with my then German girlfriend. It wasn't to make money. Everything I've done is because I've tried to fill a gap, not make money. The restaurant was because there was no Caribbean restaurants in Bali, and I wanted my girlfriend to taste Caribbean food. Pops the restaurant, right? My consulting business, when I first started, was again, I had to find a way to move to Germany and still earn money, and I had to figure out so many ways to do so. And I realized every time I tried to do it for money, I was never successful. Never. Because I didn't have the drive. There wasn't, like you said, something bigger than the money because what is happiness? Like, is there a dollar price of happiness? Right? Would I say, okay, if I earn 100,000 a month, will that make me happy? No, because then I'll be like, do you know what? Now I can make 1 million. Oh wait, no, I can make 10 million. When does it end? When does it end? So for me, I've never put money as my measuring stick for success. I've never put societal soapboxes, i.e., Instagram. followers, YouTube followers, as signs of my success. Um, Waking up every day, knowing I'm one step closer to building that kingdom, that there motivates the fuck out of me, man. You know, when my alarm goes off at 5, I think, man, another hour in bed. But I'm like, you know what? That's one more minute. I'm not getting closer to my dream. You know, so I'm up, wash my face, drink my water, and go through my routine. And then half an hour in, I'm awake. And I forgot about the fact that I was still in bed. You know, and that I think if people could start doing that and finding their why of why they must change, why things cannot stay the same, why they got to get over the fear, the anxiety, because that's part of the journey. As you said, life is hard, but it's only hard if you let it be hard. There's people in Africa, there's people in countries that have no running water, and they're happy as Larry, mate. They're happy people. You know what I'm saying? They're happy people, man. People in mud huts right now, laughing and joking with family and friends, and are just so grateful for what they have. Yet there's people who have more and don't have happiness. So it's about really understanding the why of life. And as men, we got to focus on building that kingdom. And we have to focus on that internal battle first, having your integrity, you know, becoming assertive, right? Having setting your boundaries in life, right? And having your values and purpose, having something that motivates you outside of yourself. And not worry about the woman, don't worry who she does whatever. I see some honesty, Alex. I see some of this stuff. I read some of these things on Instagram, and I'm like, what is wrong with men? Like, when do we become so freaking gullible? No, seriously. When do we become so gullible and weak? I'm on this Facebook group, yeah, it's called, I won't mention the names, but it's for dads and it's for single men. And one guy posted on the other day, what was it again? Punching. He's like, yep, my ex baby mother is pregnant again. Oh no, I don't know what to do. And people are like, wait, your ex? So what? You did it again? Didn't learn from the first time? You got her pregnant again? Yeah, yeah. She came over. What do you know? Next thing happened. We just did it, and it's like, bro, you see what I mean? It's like the IQ level of most men nowadays is ridiculous. And you hear what some of these guys come up with, and you're like, when did this happen? When did you become a bunch of sheep? When did we become followers? When did we become weak? And when men say they're weak, weakness for me is not standing up for you know what's right. What people do now when something happens, they get their phone out, start recording. It's weak. You don't want to help people, you know? It's weak. Everyone's recording. It's weak because we live vicariously through our phones. So until men can learn to have integrity, get themselves assertive again, set their boundaries, and really have their values, I think their battle will always be lost because they're going to get sidetracked by the trappings of society and the trappings of societal validation. Until they get rid of that, I believe you'll never find true happiness and you never feel fulfilled because you always feel you need something else to prop you up. I don't know. Again, I could be completely wrong about this.
Yeah, society's so easy now just to like pacify that. Any sort of ambition that we've got, you can just pacify it with your phone, with all the distraction that's around. And I think it's only going to get worse, Kimron. It's that quote: "Hard times create strong men create
Yes.
good times create
Yep.
weak men create hard
Yep.
times." And we're just going to go in a cycle. And I think eventually, I think we're at the start of that now, where we've got weak men. And I
Yes.
partly see this in my own mind, growing up in this society, growing up playing video games, growing up not being like very masculine. I'm fighting against that part of my brain that wants to be pacified, that is afraid. And it's a battle, and every man has to go through that. And that, I think the one thing I took out of today, Kimron, is when you keep putting the importance on integrity, like keeping the promises with yourself. Because if you don't have your own words, you have absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Like I said before, men, masculine men, need to be leaders, right? You lead yourself, you lead your family, you lead your community, you lead your kingdom. We have to be leaders. But the number one trait of every leader is to go first. If you don't go first, you're not a leader. Okay, we're not talking about animals and wolves, when the wolf stays at the back. We're not wolves. Yeah, this whole thing about wolf. We're not fucking wolves. This alpha nonsense. It's stupid. It's stupid. Every time I hear I'm an alpha male, I'll just tell you really briefly, Alex. I've talked to my girlfriend about this, and I'll just say this in confidence with you and your listeners. I'm 6'2". You met me before, right? I don't think I'm intimidated. You know, I don't walk around like I'm gonna kill people. I'm pretty easygoing, right? But I've had a very colorful past life. You know, I can go from 0 to 100 very, very quickly, right? But I'm old. I'm too old for this crap now. I've got things to do. What I've noticed is people who consider themselves alpha, they're the most insecure people I have ever met in my life. And I proved this to my girlfriend the other day. I think I mentioned to you last time. If I go to any gym, guarantee you, the one that thinks that alpha is going to gravitate towards me and try to shit test me. And it's hilarious. And I say this to her. I point out to her, I said, that guy. What happens? End of the night, you'll either go right in front of me. I swear it on my everything I am. I've won a gym once with my girlfriend, like this guy. Yeah, he's going to be the one, right? He'll be there for 2 hours. Slowly and slowly and slowly, he comes closer, closer, closer to my working area, right? I'm there doing leg raises, right, in the area of far back. He goes directly in front of me, starts doing this in my view. So I couldn't. I get up and stop. I look at him. I just couldn't look across because he obviously right in front of me. Like, bruh, what are you doing? Right? And he just ignores me. He was doing it. So my girlfriend looks at me. I just shake my head. Right? And I was like, this is gonna be whatever. So I'm working. I work. So the reason why this is why the reason I go to the gym at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, because I almost had to knock out two people in the gym. Right? I'm working out and I work out hard. So I do what's called really powerful supersets. Right? So I'm like, oh, I'm dripping. If you ever see me work out, I'm a savage. Okay, when I work out. So I'm dripping and I'm doing my punch bags and whatever, whatever, right? So I'm working out. I'm looking in the mirror, kissing my freaking ball, forceps. I'm working out. I go to the gym to work out. You go to the library to read a book. Yeah? Okay, you go to a nightclub to get drunk. That's what the gym is for. Working out. This meathead comes over. Bro, can you keep the noise down? I'm like, dude, it's a gym. I'm working out. Yeah, but you need to make so much noise. I go, look at him in disbelief. I'm like, you come all the way to tell me that? Are you fucking serious? Bro, it's a gym, man. Go away. So I walk away from this guy, yeah? The guy follows me, right? Follows me. So don't walk away from me. I'm like, bro, go away, right? Please, just please go away. Like I knew if he's gonna piss me off, it's just gonna be over, right? Because I'm just like I'm working out, right? I know. Moving on. Anyway, dude, he eventually goes away, right? So I'm working out on the flies. I'm like, I'm not even that loud. You know, just do my just fucking minding my own business, working out. Next thing I see, bro, I see the whole freaking uh gym people. He comes out, this guy here is making too much noise at the gym. I'm like, if you want quiet, go to the library. It's a gym, yeah. And I'm not screaming, you know, like I'm just just normal gym. So anyway, he then tries to get aggressive. So you know this guys, yeah, and he's pretty jacked. So he doesn't get aggressive when there's about 15 people around him. That's how I thought, this guy's a clown, right? Because if he really wanted to do with me, we could have done it. It was just me and him. You see what I mean? Then he puts in the show. Yeah, I come to the gym all the time. Like, I swear, dude, this guy was having road rage. So I look at him and I thought to myself, if I let loose in this guy, I'm gonna go in prison. I know it. I know it. You know? So I'll take him out. Right? I would take it just for ruining my set, trying to be an asshole. I'm gonna take you out. Right? So after that, bro, what I did, I said, you know what? I'm done with these idiots. So this is why I go to gym at 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning because there's nobody there. You see my point? Every other man I ever met who, for some reason, sees me, I don't know what it is. I say to my girlfriend, what is it? She said, I smile too much. I'm like, what do you mean I smile too much? I'm 6'2", fucking massive. What do you mean? I don't look like an easy target. What's wrong with people? Are they suicidal? Right? But they're insecure. And that's what most men have to find. This is what I'm saying to you, to people. I say this to her. When you meet me, and you've met me, so you understand, yeah? When people meet me, two things happen. Either we really bond, or you don't like me. You really don't like me, and you have no idea why. Because I bring something out in people that they realize is either missing, or they feel intimidated by, or people feel really easy with me because they're secure enough with me. And that's what I experience. So I think most men, that's the battle they face. Is they think they have to fight every other man out there to be better than them instead of working on themselves. And that's exactly what I mean. Most men will go out there fighting other men, trying to prove themselves by buying this, buying that, shagging this, doing that, instead of fighting the battles with themselves. Which once they win that battle, they can win every other battle. Or they'll always lose their battle because you meet someone like me one day that'll fuck your shit up. Right? For every guy that thinks he's bad, there's a guy that's freaking worse out there. There are psychopaths out there. I say to her, I could be a psychopath. What is wrong with these people? Like, what's wrong with these people? I would never do this. As big as I am, Alex, I would never go up to a guy in the gym and say, hey, guy, hey, buddy, keep the noise down. I'm a prick. If he slaps me in the face, I'll accept it. You see my point, though? And this is where we are as men. I hope that story makes my analogy better for you.
Yeah, 100% Kimron. And I think when I did meet you, there was a certain thing you're very polarizing, which is like a really unique and it's a very good way to get people rather on board or dislike you. But you cut out the bullshit that way because you're so authentically yourself. Like you're in with you or you're not. And my mate Ross said like you and Kimron had like the same energy. You was very upbeat, and I just instantly gravitated towards you because you was polarizing, because you was willing to be yourself. And I think that transfers over into every aspect though, like dating, for example. If you can be polarizing on dates and you can just act your authentic self, you're putting yourself out there to women that are going to align with you more instead of trying to act in a certain way. And I think that's a really big advice that I want to start following for myself, and I think other people should follow,
Yeah.
is just be your fucking self. Literally
Yeah.
just be
But
you.
what does that mean, though, Alex? So, okay. So, funny you say this, yeah? I think we should do another topic on dating because I've been doing a lot of experiment with my girlfriend's knowledge, right, on Bumble and Tinder. And I've been testing a lot. I'm actually doing a online dating course which trying to help guys to find a partner like my partner. And on my profile, it's very, very straightforward. I filter out all the nonsense, right? But I hear a lot of people say this, especially on Facebook. Oh, I'm going on a date today, lads. It's been 5 years. Just be yourself. Like, what does that mean nowadays, though? Because you're right. I'm being myself because I know myself. You see my point? So what does it mean when people say just be yourself? I never get that. Can you help me to understand what that means? Because I never get that when people say that. Just be yourself, bro. What does that mean?
Yeah, I suppose like the more people that are on maybe self improvement and that, the more you become aware of who you are. So maybe you're more inclined to act with your values and you're going to be like more truthful to yourself. But maybe if you're completely
That's
unaware of
it.
the person you are, maybe that is wrong advice of people who are just starting out. Maybe the more you develop yourself, the more you become aware and you can actually be your true authentic self. But yeah,
Yes.
maybe you do need to. What would be your advice then, Kimron? Maybe we should do a different podcast about
Values.
dating, but
No, you said it. No, absolutely. We should definitely do one on dating because right now I've got all the receipts, dude. What my target is, I get a telephone number and one message. I always get a telephone number in one message now. No, seriously. I get telephone numbers in one message. I've got all the, as I'm doing a course, and I'm going to show guys how to date authentically, all some stuff I'll do later. But to be authentic or to be yourself means knowing your values. So when people say be yourself, when I say I know myself, it means I know my values. I know my top 10 values, right? Authenticity, adventure, communication, playfulness, curiosity, integrity, also have, what I say, wisdom, right? Communication, loyalty, trust. So, and when I communicate with someone, if someone's not communicative, all right, cool. But I set my boundaries. I know what I'll tolerate, won't tolerate. You see what I mean? So in order for you to know yourself or just be yourself, there's two facets. Know your values and know your boundaries. What will you tolerate? So when you met me, right? Few people I spoke to, few people I didn't, right? Some people I test out, some people I got along really well with. And we saw me, I was walking around, I just did my own thing, looked at my flowers, looked at the bees, whatever, because I'm comfortable knowing myself, right? And when it came to speaking to people and gravitating to people, some people got on really well. It's like yourself. Some people not so much, right? Ain't my problem because I treat everyone the same, the same. Doesn't matter, tall, big, black, small, rich. It does not matter. I will say hi, how you doing? Same level, same tone, same excitement. Yeah, same thing I do with dating. And I'm showing guys this. It's like, look, if I send this message, you can see the difference in responses. Yeah, here's an example. One of my tricks, one of the things I say to them is, Hey, up for an adventure? That's it. That's the first message, right? I'm testing that one out. Some would be like, what adventure? Nope, not interested. Yeah, I'm down. Sounds amazing. What you got in mind? Different. Yeah, I'm up for that. Different. So who would I rather spend time with? The ones like, yeah, oh, what kind of adventure? Tell me first. The one that's like, yeah, I'm interested, but what kind of adventure? Oh, I'm down. I want to spend my time with the one that's down, right? Because I know what my value is. I want someone that is non-structured. I want someone that is adventurous. I want someone that is open-minded. So those three responses I'm getting, I can already always get it right, but you have steps. I can see that person open-minded, so we can vibe, just like everyone else. If I go to people and I'm exactly the same with everyone, I then see different responses. Over time, I have intuition with people. And then I know what I tolerate and I don't tolerate, and therefore I either step away from you, I either enforce my boundaries, or thirdly, I just continue it. Once you know those things, it makes life easier. But you have to know your values and you have to know your boundaries. Once you have that, then you can be yourself because you operate in who you are, your core personal values, right? I know I value communication. So if I told someone, hey, how you doing? I'm okay. All right, cool, you're done. You're done. You're done. You're done, right? Hey, where did you grow up? Oh, I grew up in Texas. What was that like? Oh man, it was amazing. I did Great, we can vibe. You see my point? But I treat everyone the same. If you give one word answer, you're done. Don't care who you are. You gotta treat everyone the same.
I really feel like that's become like your natural habit though. It's what you said, something about intuition. It's become your natural
Go on.
habit because you've
Yep.
done it so much, Kimron. You've put yourself in them scenarios. I think most people think they're going to have that intuition
Yeah.
without the practice first. And to have intuition, you need to practice. You need to
Hmm.
go out there and learn things and apply your knowledge because then it becomes an ingrained in your mind
Yes.
and you can start reading people better. You can start
Oh yeah.
realizing what you're good at, but it's intuition
Yeah.
comes from practice. And I think for people that are first starting out, that first step of practice is so hard. Going up to a girl and speaking to her when you're really socially anxious and you've not dated a girl in like 2 years, it's so difficult because you've got all these barriers in your mind that are like, she's gonna laugh at you, she's gonna do this and that. But as time goes, you get more confidence, you start reading people better, you
Yeah.
start calming down, and that intuition builds, and
Yeah.
you can step out your own way to a certain extent.
Yeah. I build a whole like I can't wait to bring this to the world. I bring a whole framework, like a 7 to 9 step framework of doing exactly that. So I'm working on at the moment. So I'm taking a small break from the restaurant. And I'm working on doing this course for people, and it builds up because I'm thinking I've learned so much. Like I've got to give this to the world. Do you know what I mean? Somehow. So along with the book that I'm writing, I want to just also just have that so I can show guys how to build up that confidence and that intuition the way that I learned it. But obviously not spending years as much as I did to do it, but a shortcut way of doing it, 2 to 3 months of really becoming assured of self because, you know, I don't know if you've seen my girlfriend, but she's fucking, drop dead gorgeous with an amazing body. But that's what I like. Everyone likes that. But I've experience of getting the women that I want, not the women that I can get. You know what I'm saying, right? I have no fear of getting what I want now because that happens in every part of my life. How I do one thing is how I do everything. So because I know what I want, I know how to get it. I have no fear of losing it. You know, and exactly as you said, that anxiety, bro. Oh man, I used to suck. Oh my god, I used to suck at dating, bro. Suck. I used to think, why do my friends get more punani than me, right? More, and I was like, I was just so upset. Honestly, bro, out of my group, my friends used to kill it, man. Honestly, we got to a club, I'd be scared to talk to girls. I'll be there in a corner. I see my guys, and I was like, why did they keep getting more pussy than me? It's only as I got older, right? As I got older and I practiced more and I started dating more beautiful women, and I'm like, she ain't all that. Yeah, she looks good, but I bet she burps when she drinks soup. You know what I mean? Or or she farts in bed. So I don't look at these women anymore and think, oh wow, look how stunning she is. I think, oh, I bet she got crusty toes. I just play them down now. I couldn't care less. Honestly, I couldn't care less. And the way I approach it now with them is I'm at that level because I've experienced it, like the really beautiful women. and then they're not that great. You know what I mean? So it's like, ah, man, so what? You look good on Instagram, but your breath stinks, or some shit like that. So for me, when we have that mindset, again, when you're used to building your kingdom and you're used to getting what you always want, why would you be scared to go up to a girl? Because you're used to getting what you want, right? You put your mind to doing your hobbies, you've done it. You put your mind to building your business, you've done it. You put your mind towards your health, you've done it. You put your mind towards, beating your mental health, you've done it. Nothing stops you. So why should the woman stop? And but that is going to be the byproduct of everything else. Like I said, I don't even worry women because they're six in my list, bro. So by the time I get to them, I am already the man that doesn't care less how hot you are. I'm the prize, right? Because I've worked on me, worked on my spirituality, worked on my business, continue to love my hobbies, enjoy my bike. I like riding bikes, and now I'm interested in women. So instead of me being anxious about the things that are moving forward, I prioritize the things that it doesn't mean she's less. It just means I'm wise enough to focus on the things that will never leave me, i.e., the things that always be part of my life. Me, spirituality, my hobbies, my business, whatever, women come and go. But by the time I get to this part of my life, I'm already the man I want to become. Do you see what I mean? So the anxiety of going up to a girl and so forth. If you're a guy, you're anxious to go up to a girl, you shouldn't be going up to girls, period. That means you're not working on your hobbies. That means you're not working on your business. That means you're focused on the wrong fucking things. It's as simple as that. Believe that if you want. But you focus on the wrong things. If you still have anxiety, talk to another human being, right? Then you need to be working on yourself, bro. You work on your hobbies, working on your mental health, working on your physical health, working on that business you want to always work on, traveling, doing the things that make you feel secure, okay? That makes you feel happy. Because the only reason you go up to a girl and you worried about it, because you're not used to winning. You're not used to achieving. You're not used to breaking through barriers. You're not used to starting and failing, right? By the time you come to women, it's another thing to conquer. That's the fun part. When you come to that stage, it's now fun to see if she'll reject you or not. But you're so confident going up to her that you couldn't care less if she does or doesn't. It's like you're lost. You're lost, right? Because guess what? I have options. And a man that is scared to go to a woman is a man that has no options, right? And I'm not talking about women options. It's like, okay, do you want to spend time with me this weekend? I'm going rock climbing. Where? Yeah? I got a girl to see this, I got to go home tonight too. You know what? Let me go do some meditation. Right? It's like it shouldn't even matter about abundance in women because you got five other things that should be your priority anyway. Just my 2 cents. It's how I operate.
Yeah, and it's like paradoxical in a sense because when you focus on them five things, you focus on your business, your spiritual, your business, whatever it is, you focus on your priorities. That is
Hobbies.
actually going to
Yep.
make you more attractive
Yep.
to them women. But it's really subtle because I think people
Yeah.
chase their priorities with the end goal of getting
Yeah.
women. So they think they're doing it right, but in actuality,
Yes.
they're doing all them things just to make her
Yep.
just to try and impress her, and that will come across in the way you communicate with
Yes.
her. But if you're really just so focused on
Yes.
yourself, and women they'll sense that, they'll feel it in you, they'll feel that this person is on his grind, he's a man
Yes.
that I can trust, and that will make you more attractive. But you need to not do it with the subtle intention of trying to impress women. It needs to be just to solely
Yes.
work on yourself.
Do you know what everyone wants? Everyone wants a leader, bro. Like when I do my dating thing and I do my messaging, I speak to them afterwards, just to get a sense of what it was about the messages, so I can do my research. Every woman wants to be feminine. Every woman wants a masculine man, and we talked about this before. A masculine man's number priority is to lead. Every woman wants to be led, and I say this. Every feminine woman. You got to say that now. Every feminine woman wants to be led. And most women who are in their masculine, talking about women who are interested in men, not people not interested in men, women interested in men, they're only in their masculine because they don't feel safe around most men because most men are in their feminine too. If a woman's more feminine than you, she's not going to be attracted to you. But again, it's about being assertive, not dominant. Most men think they need to dominate women. I don't want that. The women I speak to, honestly, the way I do things, even with my own girlfriend, you know, is to lead. And again, it's by going first. She needs to trust my integrity. She needs to trust my work ethic. She needs to trust that my emotional control is there so she can talk to me, right? If there's an issue, she needs to trust that I can set boundaries for her and us. Those things I talked about, exact things I talked about, right? One day, she always speak to my girlfriend, have a podcast with her and see what she says about the way how I lead her. And how it works is very simple, dude. Is we have to lead as men. A woman is never going to trust you as a man if you're unable to lead her or she feels safe in your masculinity. And most men, they're not safe, they don't feel safe within themselves. So why the hell would she feel safe with you? End of the day, every woman knows. Woman's intuition, she knows when she's in front of a masculine man or a pretender. It's, think about it. By the time they're what, 12, 13, people are throwing dicks to them. Here's some dick. Here's some dick. Here's some dick. Here's some dick. Right? 12, 13. Let's be honest. Right? 12, 13. People have been throwing dicks at them. So by the time they get 25, 30, you think they've learned by now what is real, what isn't. That's how women can sniff out a fake from such a far away. Because since she's 13, people trying to fuck her.
Yeah, it's so important for men to realize that you need to embody a masculine man for them to find you attractive. Like they are going to smell that sense of insecurity, and the more you try and hide that, the more it comes out. And it comes out in not always the words you say, but how you say them words. It comes across in the way you hold yourself, your body
Yeah,
language. It comes out, and they sense these
yeah.
things. They've got like a third sense for the way a man handles himself, and you can't hide that. You can't hide your
Oh yeah.
insecurities. They come out in some way.
It's a lot, bro. We gotta do a whole new podcast on that one. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
The
let's do it.
shit that
Let's
I've
do
I've,
one,
I've
Kimron.
discovered. I think we should. I'll happy to take you through my case studies. I've done a lot of case studies, like a lot of case studies, just to because is masculinity in a man is super important for me to embody because I want to teach my sons this as well. I have plans for my sons. They can obviously do what they want, but I have planned to teach them everything that I know, and I hope they make all the right decisions and teach the world as well. That is my legacy. I can't force them to do what I don't want to do because again, I don't want to put expectations on them. But I'm going to teach them with wisdom, and they're going to hopefully use that wisdom to better the world. That's my aim. But I'm doing a lot in this, the relationship side of it. 'Cause I think men, instead of being taught the red pill nonsense and being scared, how to really embody a masculinity in a relationship because a happy man is a happy relationship. A happy man in a marriage is a happy marriage. The happy wife, happy life. That is not true. That is not true. A woman cannot lead a relationship. Every woman that's led a relationship has led it to disaster. Women say it themselves. They say it themselves. You cannot let a woman lead a relationship because she based off emotions, and emotion change every 5 fucking seconds, right? You cannot base a relationship off a thick of quicksand that changes every 5 minutes. So stronger men means having better integrity, having better emotional awareness, having better discipline, values, and also having better boundaries. And that is the aim I'm trying to embody. And we'll see how that goes, buddy. We'll see how that goes. This has been good, man. I've enjoyed that. Good. Nice. Honestly, I get numbers. We want to go. Dude, no worries, man. It's like half one where I am. No gym for me tonight, but it's fine. I'll go gym tomorrow. It's no big deal. Honestly, it's no big deal. But honestly, dude, I love speaking to you, and I'm glad we are doing this podcast. I hope your listeners have listened this far. If they have, I hope they learned something from this. If they haven't, then I guess it's too bad. But I think, if anything, the message I'm just trying to give to people is just don't worry what keep other people's ahead. I know sometimes you might go on social media and see someone looking at living a happy life with this and that, but it's not real. It really isn't real. I know it's easy to say. What what's going to bring you peace and happiness is just try to figure out what's keeping you behind. Work on those things, small by small by small. And then the ultimate goal is just figure out your why. Why is it you want anything in the world? And that will be your driving force for your success. And if you're a man, then the key things you need to work for is I talked about those four things. And people in general, in order to find your peace and happiness, you need to know as a man as well, is know your values. What are your values? What are your 10 core personal values? And then what's your boundaries with those? Like, what would you tolerate? If you value communication, what kind of communication would you tolerate? People shouting at you? Would you tolerate that? If you won't tolerate that, you need to enforce that. For me, in my relationship, bro, we don't shout. Like, no voice has been risen. We have a community. If she goes over a certain decibel, I'm like, well, none of that. Again, lead in a certain way. We don't talk. We don't talk to each other like that. That's not communicating love, right? So if you're gonna keep that level of tone, this conversation is now over. Once you can lower back your tone and talk to me in a loving way, we therefore can continue. How does that sound? You see how I can't communicate? That's what I mean. Because I know I don't want people shouting at me. In my relationship or out, you're not talking to me in any funny way. Right? Loyalty. What does loyalty mean to me? Well, again, so you have to understand what those values mean to you to know thyself. Once you know thyself, you need to tell the world how they can treat thyself. Right? Because you are your vessel. If anyone treats you any way you don't want to, you're always going to be pissed, unhappy with the world. If in the one place you're stuck in yourself and you don't even know it, it's like us going to Mars and we have no idea what's in the fucking oceans. It's dumb, right? What's inside of you first? Figure that shit out before you worry about the world, because that shit ain't going nowhere. But if you're operating in the one place you're stuck, you are stuck with you till you're done. Figure you out first, right? And then figure out what you're willing to enforce in your life, and then what you're willing to tolerate in your life, and what you're willing to let go. And once you figure that, my friend, your life is, you will look at life through different glasses now. Because now you look at life through the true values of you versus the values of your parents, the values of your neighbors, the values of your religion, or the values of your next influencer. That's my message to you.
Spot on. What a way to end the podcast. Kimron, fucking great episode again, mate. And I look forward to you coming on next time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Let's just range it, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. I appreciate me just being on here. This is just, it's nice to be able to have a conversation with you and chop it up for your listeners to get some. If they listen to all of this, kudos to you, man. You guys are soldiers.
Right. Cheers, Kimron, mate.
No worries, pal.